Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello everyone, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Michelle Leblanc. She is a wardrobe consultant based in Ottawa, Ontario. How are you doing today, Michelle?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here today and share a bit about your story and your journey and give us a bit of insight into what you do. And thank you for taking the time to be part of the Empowerography community.
My pleasure.
How's your morning going so far?
Very good. Just, catching up with some emails, getting ready for my day, setting a good mode.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's jump right in. So, Michelle, you have a background in psychology and expertise in fashion and have combined the two to create quite a unique business, which allows you to help your clients as a style consultant. How did you come up with the idea to marry these two very different backgrounds into one business? What was the inspiration behind starting it?
Wow, what a great question. Thank you for asking that. So I've always had a huge interest in fashion and I kind of followed it my entire life. I grew up in an atelier. My mom was a seamstress, so it was always a very organic thing for me. It's just something that I liked and that I understood. And then the interest grew in psychology as well. But I have to say I think it was about 12 years ago when I watched What Not to Wear for the first time. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this show on TLC. Yeah. And I thought, what a great concept, because these people are, they're the hosts, they're taking people from the street and they're seeing that, not only their wardrobe isn't on point, but there's probably something internal that isn't on point as well, right? So every time they would do the consultation, not only would they, transform their inner appearance, their outer appearance, but they would, give them a nice little consult as well, maybe ask them maybe if there was a pivotal point where it kind of started to go wrong in their lives, or if they had something crucial that happened that wasn't so pleasant and caused them to kind of, start having a decline about how they presented themselves and what, how they were presenting themselves to the world. So I thought that was really cool because I was just like, okay, maybe someday I could do something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. So it all came from What Not to Wear, or that's where the idea was sparked. I love it.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the business and the services you offer to your clients?
Yeah, for sure. So I started the business officially 2 years ago. I've been doing it on the side for, many, many years, probably my entire life.
Yeah.
I was the go-to person when people needed to get a new outfit for an interview, for a date or something. And I always just really enjoyed it. It never felt like work to me. I was so excited, people would call me and be like, yes, absolutely. So 2 years ago, I put it together as an Instagram page, and then I started growing a following little by little and posting things of interest and helpful tips and such. And that grew into me creating, a website and launching my business officially. And now services I offer closet cleanses, whether in person or virtually. So what we do, we'll go inside and see, what's serving you and what's not serving you. Sometimes people hold on to clothing for emotional reasons or things like that. So we really, we do an analysis. We sit there and we see why perhaps something's working for you, why it's not working for you, why you're holding on to it. And by the end, there's a very good understanding of, where you're going, which is great.
Yeah.
And, what maybe needs to be left behind, repurposed, donated. It's a very kind of liberating, kind of service, which I've seen in my clients, and, they really like that. Other services would be, I create a style guide for people. So if people are looking at, everyone's trying to, after COVID, you're like, okay, I'm going to come out of this better,
Yeah.
So maybe to get in touch with your real style, what resonates with you, what colors work well, what shapes that, you should be going towards if you want to, elevate your life in any type of way. It's always great when you love what you're wearing, right? If you
Absolutely.
go into an interview and you feel great about yourself, you're going to radiate that energy. If you go into
you're going to project that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So people who are, working on goals are typically people who would reach out to me for that. So I create a style guide for them, and I, some personalized kind of pictures with things, if we've had a previous consult, with things that they already own.
Yeah.
So that they can easily create new outfits that won't necessarily break the bank, because it's like, oh, well, I already have pants very similar to this and a blazer like this. So all I need to get now are the shoes, as opposed to starting from scratch and just having to spend, a lot of money to create something. I typically go with things that they already have, and we build up on that. So that would be the style guide.
Yeah.
And the other one would be personal shopping. So I have a lot of clients that are really, really busy with their lives, and they don't have time to shop. They find it overwhelming. They find it, it's a jungle out there, which it is.
Yeah.
So they reach out to me. I have a lot of product knowledge. I have a lot of brand knowledge. So I can isolate a few companies with them, for them that, have more sustainable products or higher quality products. So then they won't be wasting their time and their money. So it's money well spent. So I do all the research. I know their size. I know their style. I know what they're looking for. So I will search, high and low, on the internet with certain brands. And then I send them, a few suggestions of what they can buy. And that's been, even though that's been done mostly virtually, it's been very successful, because I eliminate a lot of the crap that's out there, right? Because there's basically a new pop-up site for clothing every single day, so it can get very, very confusing out there.
For
so
sure.
I can narrow it out and guide them a little bit better.
I'm sure they totally appreciate that too. It's one less thing for them to worry about, right?
100%. Yeah.
How did you decide or figure out that there was a need for this service in the market?
Well, again, like with shows like What Not to Wear, it didn't seem very hard for them to be finding these people on the street, I know it was kind of, the model of it was someone would call it in and be like, okay, like, my mom's going to be at this coffee shop tomorrow. You can go ambush her over there. But, just like, traveling around the world, seeing different mindsets, different things. I always felt like Canada needed a little bit more help, because the pride that I saw in other countries when it came to wardrobe and fabric and customization, I didn't always see that around here. So it's just like, you know what? Like, I feel like in my homeland, I can really kind of pick up and maybe expose people to that a little bit, because I did live in Spain for a while as well, and people put so much effort into their appearance. Like everyone, I fit right in. Like it took me 3 hours to get ready, to choose all the right clothes and the right shoes, the right hair. A lot of people were like that too. So I just noticed that it created kind of like a social elevation, everyone would be out there. They'd be very comfortable with themselves. Like they could really enjoy the moment. They could really enjoy the night and, be in the streets and drink wine all night, because the intent behind the outfit, you could see that it was there. You could see that the effort was put so that they knew what to wear to be able to feel great all night and not have to like go home early because, I don't feel so good. You know what I mean? Like it was very tangible for me. So I was just like, I'm going to take that with me. Yeah.
I'm bringing that to Canada.
Definitely.
How long have you been in business now?
So we're going to be 2 in December. So I chose.
Wow. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you. I chose December 13th as my, official launch date.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly. I know, in November 2 years ago, I was doing some stuff, but that's when I decided mentally, I was just like, this is something that I'm going to pursue and grow. So yeah.
Well, coming up very soon on your 2 year. That's great.
Yes.
I love the name Outer Health. How did you come up with the name for your business?
Well, I don't make any decisions lightly. I'm that kind of person. It takes me a long time, but as I was thinking about all of this, I was just like, I want it to almost not reflect fashion, because I want people to not that every personal stylist out there is the same, but I wanted to really make people understand my niche. And, with a background in psychology, having been, studying it for many years, I think we're going on 7 now. It's all like your inner health. And I was just like, okay, that's great. But I've worked in mental health. I know it can take sometimes 20 years to really get through a problem. And that's great. And we should all be working on ourselves internally. Mm-hmm. But it's also great when you can start a little bit from the outside sometimes as well, because it's a really great picker-upper. If you're having the worst day ever, no matter what the situation or why that is, if you put a nice outfit on, it will turn your entire day around. It really will, Yeah. So that's where it came from.
Love it. What's your approach when styling a client? Can you walk me through how you decide upon how to style them, what the process you go through is?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I book, people reach out to me from all different social media platforms, which I really appreciate and I love. And then they say, I really get to know where they're going, what they're doing, and what they need me for, right? I want this to be as profitable for them as possible. So I ask a lot about, their business, their relationship, like, what do you need from me? And then they can usually give me a pretty good, detailed kind of resume of what they're looking for. Yeah. And that's where I go. Then I go, I tell them I'm going to creep you on Facebook a little bit, or, I look at pictures of them, what they're wearing so far, what they've worn throughout the years. And kind of with with now knowing where they're going, it makes it easy for me to kind of pick up on where I want to bring them and how my guidance will benefit them, right? So so that's typically how it's done. And then when I do connect with them over virtually or in person, then we have an in-depth analysis. Sometimes there's certain things that come up, like self-confidence or a past trauma or something like that we can just kind of discuss and know
there your psychology factors into it all.
Well, yeah, exactly. So then I get to really understand the person, and I understand their connection to style and how I can enhance that in a very positive way. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Now, you say that the world needs this right now. Why, in your opinion, do you think it's so necessary right now?
I think it's never been more urgent, because I was throughout the entire pandemic, I was continuing my master's level studies in psychology, and even with my peers, with my group, like, I would see how much mental health has been a huge factor, and increasing mental health difficulties and such throughout the pandemic, because people felt literally isolated and they were ashamed to talk about certain problems that they were having or difficulties to cope with certain things, and people's the image of themselves would really decline as well, because if you've been wearing raggedy sweatpants for 6 weeks, I always say, like, every time you pass by a mirror and you get that image of yourself, that sends a message to your brain, right?
Right.
It sends, you recreate how you see yourself. So people typically wouldn't go 6 weeks wearing sweatpants all the time in the history of ever. So now it's like they're creating kind of a negative image of themselves which is something that, it's not a healthy thing. So I want to kind of push people away from that and make them recognize and appreciate how important it is to still, to still dress nice once in a while, take a picture of yourself, share it with your friends, like, just have that pride. Like, you don't need to do that every day, especially if you're not leaving your house, but to be mindful of how much of an impact that can have on you in the long run I think is very, very important to
for sure. It's key to mental well-being. I mean, like you said, you're sitting around in track pants you're going to have this self-image.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with looking half decent.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we're stuck at home, once in a while, there's nothing wrong with dressing up and feeling good. It helps you to feel good about yourself.
Exactly. And even on your, with your online meetings, yes, they only see the top half of you, but a lot of people, whether it's like interviewing or creating business connections, they're still seeing you for the first time.
That's right.
So you need to decide what you want to project. And
that's right.
If you're, if you feel good about yourself that day and you still, like you said, look half decent, the energy that you'll translate even on screen is going to be different than if you feel like, you're.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
My dad always told me, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I love 100%. That quote. It's so nothing could be more true. I mean, and you, like you said, the energy, if you're not feeling good about yourself, that energy is going to come through for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I've had the experience too, I volunteer at a couple places and I've given like webinars and such. And, I can remember this person saying, well, that's fine. It's the pandemic. I can just be at home. And this person was looking for work, being at home with my wrinkly t-shirt. It doesn't matter. It's Zoom interviews, my cat's just like running around everywhere and that's fine. And I'm thinking, okay, you might have the greatest skill set in the world. You could be a Harvard graduate.
Yeah.
But you're really narrowing your pool here because
that's right.
Unless the person on the receiving end is also sitting at home with a wrinkly t-shirt and a cat and that's their vibe.
Yeah.
Chances are they will be put off by that a little bit.
For sure. I would think so. I would be thinking this person's not taking this seriously.
Exactly. And it's okay. People are working from homes. They have their pets. They have their children, but you still have to be mindful to keep things at least pretty professional,
Well, yeah, if you're doing an interview, you're in a meeting with potential clients or even your colleagues at work, you still got to be presentable. I mean, if you're not on video or anything like that and you're just working from home, fine, wear a wrinkly t-shirt, wear your baggy sweatpants and have your pets running around. That's not a problem. But if you're on video presenting yourself, no, that doesn't fly.
No. So yeah, I think it's good to bring that awareness, just to help people get what they want.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, it's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you pull your inspiration from when you're styling clients?
I get inspired by them. Okay. I get inspired by what I've seen them wear in the past that really worked for them.
Yeah.
If I see, a lady and she has like a beautiful pair of like white prop pants, like there's a style that's associated with that. And I'm not saying that, everyone fits in a box or with one particular style, but there are trends that go, in certain directions and such. So if someone has a very classy style or a classic style, then I see, oh, wow, that's a very polished, elegant look. She really wore that well.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick other pieces that will continue to make her look this good, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really get inspired by them. I get inspired by, people's skin tones, people like the way certain colors really, really flatter and bring their whole being to life. Like that's really the inspiration. And I know I speak about colors and such, but I work with a lot of men too. Like, men still have that. Even if you're a man, you have a skin tone. Like, there's colors that just look amazing on you and some that are a little bit more maybe muted and less flattering, and different, different
Yeah.
shapes, different styles. So it's really for everyone.
Do you predominantly work with women?
No, no.
Yeah. Is it more so women than men?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
maybe I'd say maybe 70% women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which fashion stylists do you admire or look up to, and why?
So, throughout my journey, I took a lot of classes online, and, just like learning from different people in the industry. And funny enough, some of them that I admire the most, it has really little to do with their style and with how they run their business. I have my own style. I know what my style is,
Right.
I get inspired, of course, but yeah. So for me, for a stylist, it would have been Lauren Messiah. She's a stylist in LA. She started as a celebrity stylist. She hated that world. It was very demanding. A lot of these celebrities were really hard to work with.
Yeah.
And she reframed, even though she was in LA, she reframed her business to more the everyday working people and, the professionals. Yeah. And the CEOs and people who just really, everyday people, is like moms, dads, like people who were just looking to get out of a rut.
Yeah.
And she created, a multi-million-dollar business, and her, her school of style and all of that. So she was a big influence for me. And also Anna Bay, she's a lady from Switzerland, and she runs School of Affluence. Okay. And for her, it's all about elegance and etiquette, which is something that I always try to portray in my own personal brand and in my style, and I try to bring that to other people as well, because having a polished look, it's not for everyone, but it gets you into a lot of doors, right?
Yes, for sure.
So to have a little bit of that, whatever your style, your personality is, it's not a bad idea. So yeah.
Okay. What's the most exciting or interesting part of your job?
To see the transformation.
Yeah.
It's to see that people really connected with the message, and then they start implementing changes for themselves. Whether I see it, on Facebook, on Instagram, when people ask the right questions, and then they go, okay. And I see that, they get it. Yeah. And I see their next picture, and I see how people are commenting and the positive, the positive messages that they're getting. Yeah. And to me, that's the whole, that's the whole world. Yeah.
What's your 5-year plan for your business? Where do you want to take it or see it going?
Oh my. Well, I'm planning to grow it as big as I can. I'm starting to expand into the US now, which is very exciting because
good for you.
Yeah, there's a huge market out there. So that's been exciting. It's happened in the past couple of weeks. Good. So yeah, my 5-year plan is to have, a very solid base of clients, which, I'm starting to have. So that's not too bad. And then, having a subscription model where people can get curated tips for their own style and what they would like to buy, and have that really running solidly. Again, we're kind of starting it right now, but to have it as a really, really solid thing that people can refer to. And I want to be people's go-to clothes person. Awesome. Like, how you have your barber or your hairstylist, every time you think hair, that's the first person that comes into your mind. I want to be that person. Awesome. I want to be like, okay, I need some help with my wardrobe. Let me call Michelle, or let me connect with Michelle and see what tips I can get.
Michelle is top of mind.
Yes. So that's the plan. And just like connecting with more markets internationally. I mean, I'm well connected in different countries. So just to try to expand that, and eventually maybe have a store. I think that would be pretty great too, because again, there's a lot of brands online that people are not familiar with. Right. So even to have a few sizes of these different stores that are really good quality. Yeah. So that people could come and try before they would have, to order online.
Try before you buy.
Yeah. And then they would really know, right? And it's kind of like solidifying that feeling of the material against your skin as well, and to understand a better material from perhaps like a low quality one, and to bring that awareness again, and to build that brand for myself even further.
Excellent. To date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
I would say, some people, I've had some clients that have had some really difficult, either, hardships in life or even like medical situations that have even prevented them from, dressing it, like even like, normally. For me to be able to have these people trust me, especially with really, really big events in their lives or things that were really important to them, and say, you know what, I'm putting like my outfit, I'm putting that in your hands today. If I'm going to present my thesis, or if I'm going to, be a performer or talk, in front of a TED Talk or something. For me, that's my biggest achievement, is the trust that I gain from my clients, and to see how successful, our partnership is at the end by, us agreeing on a style and them loving it and them looking great and feeling great and getting so much great feedback. And it's just like propelling them into their career. I think that's what it's all about,
Yeah. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think it's the fact that it comes from a place of well-being and not judgment.
Yeah.
And the ability to connect with people and to understand them and to understand their struggles, even if I don't understand it fully, because, it's hard to understand something that you've never personally gone through as much as you want to.
Yeah.
I think that might be, my ability to feel and my personal failures, the fact that I've failed at, many things, and I've gotten back up and tried, and, just, I'm like, yeah, I think that made me a little bit resilient, and it made me like, maybe, I don't know if we're going to say empathetic or understanding, but I think that might be what's, yes, it's great to have an innate kind of sense of fashion and have a flair that was just always there, but
for sure,
you definitely need more than that to be successful in this business. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
For me, it's to wake up every day at whatever time you need to wake up. If you have a client at 6 a.m. or at 10 a.m., and you're so happy and willing and ready to, to help them. Yeah. And you've built a great business financially. You're secure. You're happy. You love what you do. And you still have extra energy to do activities that you love. For
Excellent.
me, that is like what to strive for. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight to your character, who Michelle is?
In which sense?
Just any situation that's occurred in your life that would tell us a bit more about who you are, just a particular situation.
I would say, well, because I started in the beauty industry, and because I'm such an intellectual, I'm such a little nerd, and I always need to be going to school and learning different things. I love being a nerd. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And, just the fact that I wasn't fulfilled, I have a background in hair, and I was a business owner then. And, I had great clients even back in the day. But I wasn't fulfilled intellectually. And I think I really needed to go back to university, and I needed to, get the psychology degree and pursue my studies. And I needed to have a further understanding of the world, because not that I didn't love my clients, not that I didn't love my world, but it was a bit too narrow for me.
Right.
If I wanted to fulfill all the parts of me that needed to be fed, it was just not enough.
Yeah.
And the fact that I still, dabbled in the beauty industry throughout my university career. And then it's funny because it is a full circle. Like I was away for long enough that I knew that was still a part of me that I couldn't stay away from too long, even though I needed something else, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. 100%.
Because, aesthetics, shapes, colors, they're such a huge part of who I am that I needed to step away from it to find the better outlet for me. I'll always remember, my friend Kayla in school, we were like, study buddies, and we would just always have each other's back and laugh way too much at inappropriate times. And,
Yeah.
and she kind of picked up on it. She's like, Michelle, if I come here first, I'm going to pick a seat out front, because she's like, you get really distracted if you sit out back.
Yeah.
She was like, there's too many colors for you. You look at people's hair, you look at people's outfit, and you can't absorb why you're here, like the information that's being given. So, we kind of got to know each other, and she was like, yeah, like we need to sit out front for you to be able to focus on the information, because, I was still good at this type of thing, but I couldn't look at everything else because it was an overstimulus, right? So I think that really made me understand what it is that I need, and, and who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
I've received a lot. Like I'm blessed. I've connected with, people who had like their multi-million-dollar businesses and they've done super well. I think it's just, it's to follow your passion, but you have to do it right. If you have a dream and you don't work on it, you sit there and you're like, oh, I love to paint, or I love to do this. That's all great. But to really connect with the business people that will bring your dream to life, in a sense that it's really to isolate. And I posted about that yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's really to isolate what you're not good at.
Right.
And recognizing that will really, really be an important step in your career, because as much as, you do your own thing, you have your skill set, you have your talent, you need the people who are good at the stuff that you suck at.
For sure.
Because they will be the ones to guide you, like with no biases. They'll just guide you where you need to go and let you flourish.
That's
like
it.
They will take, if I'm trying to do all this finance stuff or all this IT stuff, my energy, my skill, my talent is not being used the right way.
Yeah.
So that for me is probably the most important when it comes to growing a business and growing it to scale.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
When I see women that are dressed better than me. Because I'm like, okay, what's wrong with you? Like, you're this person. Why is today not a day that you can do that too, right?
Yeah.
Because something has inspired them. They valued themselves enough that day to really be on point. And I'm like, what's missing here? Where's my values? How am I valuing myself? So to see people who are really putting their best foot forward out there, I can't leave after I see someone like that, especially if it's someone that I know. I can't leave the house looking all raggedy. Absolutely not.
What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
I would say take in all the experiences. Remember how you felt in certain situations when you were not well dressed and how it resonated with you. I think for me, like the embarrassment that I would feel when I would not put enough effort into my clothing, because I know that I know better. So you have to trust yourself. You have to trust your instinct. If you know better, do better.
Right.
Don't just be lazy about it, because it really frames your day. It frames how people, and it may not frame everyone's day the way it does for me, the way that they're dressed, because again, people have different skills and different things that make them shine.
Yeah.
But your outfit will help. It will help open these doors. It will help people give you a second look, like maybe like an afterthought. Like you'll make a way bigger impression if you have that as well, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
It's from Hafiz. He's a Persian poet.
Okay.
And it is, in the darkness, I wish you could see the light that I see. I'm probably misquoting that, but the sentiment is still there.
Yeah.
Like on a person's darkest days, usually they don't see themselves very well or in a very good light.
Yeah.
But we still see a lot of positive out of that person, even if they're at their absolute lowest, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Empowerment to me means that when you're reaching out to someone, when you're giving advice in any way, shape, or form, ask yourself if it's going to help them. Because if not, you're not serving yourself and you're not serving them. Whether it's a friend asking for advice, whether it's in business, you're like, okay, what I'm going to share with them, like the information, the guidance, I have to make sure that that's going to, fuel them the right way. Right. If I'm being condescending, if I'm being, if I'm just not being cool, that's going to resonate with them as well. And you don't want that, right? Like you don't want anyone to ever feel lesser than they should.
No, so, yeah, absolutely.
That to me is empowerment.
Okay. What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
People who believe in me. Because I basically made up a job, like I was like, I really like these two things and I really need to put them together. And people are like, oh, people don't dress well in Ottawa. There's no market for that. I'm like, great, let me create one.
There you go. That's it right there.
Yes, it's a $74 million industry in the US, not here. And, it was people who just didn't even doubt me, who went, absolutely, you'd be great at that. Yeah. And then I just go, okay, I'm going to take it and run,
I love that attitude. There's not a market here. Okay, I'll show you. I'm going to create one. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you notice about a person?
Colors.
Colors? Okay.
I don't know if my eyes see things differently, how like, we have, and this is the thing in psychology, we have different, like, it's called like cones and sticks. So there's different things in our eyes that make us see a variety, like a spectrum of colors. Yeah. Some people who are colorblind see a lot less colors. Some people see more. I think maybe I see more because I get to pick up on like, tiny nuances of a different warmth, of a different, subtlety. I think so for me, it's just colors right away. And then I see the outline of things. I see, like the outline of like a pant or a blazer or something. And that's something that I've learned a long time ago doing hair, because it was always, bred in us that it's the outline of things that will always create or kind of solidify the picture. So if someone has like fuzzy ends on their hair or greasy roots, you see the outline of things. It could be messy in the middle and you won't even notice as much. But if you've got a clean beginning, a clean end, your eye is automatically attracted to the outline. Right. So I think that's where my brain goes as well when I see, colors and shapes with people. Yeah.
What is your personal motto?
Look good, feel good.
I love it. That's perfect.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, for sure. What's the most recent investment you've made in yourself?
I think, again, it was, this might sound weird, but I think it was to allow myself to be vulnerable and to trust other people to help me with my business. I think that was a great investment, because not only am I investing financially in people, providing, again, IT solutions, like financial kind of picture and, like a progress reports and such. But that to me is I see it as investing in myself, because, I put that out there that I needed guidance, and I need to be put in check, because the message that I'm sending myself is you value yourself and your company enough that you can definitely invest in people who are going to, mitigate the risks of your company and
For
to,
sure.
really bring it to where it needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're writing your autobiography, what would the title
Mm-hmm.
be?
Michelle.
Pretty simple and
Yeah.
straightforward. All
It would
right.
be pretty simple. Yeah. And if people want to look at that, great. And if they're like, whatever, then also great.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
I'd say maybe ambitious, but
Okay.
yeah. Or
All right.
maybe like just, yeah, like loving growth, but that's a couple of words. So let's stick with ambitious.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you and why?
I'm going to have to say the people who pursued what they wanted to do, like the people who believed in themselves.
Yeah.
Because things, like I said, with the Ottawa market and such, like it's easy to get discouraged by facts and by,
for sure.
like, so when I see people who go, you know what, they have such a strong heart and they have such a strong dedication to their passion, and they do it in a healthy way. They do it, they're being realistic about it, and they're always growing. Like there's so many people I can't, my friends, I keep a good circle of friends, people who inspire me all the time. So it's really hard to pinpoint, because I've been very, very lucky to meet, incredible friends, incredible entrepreneurs all throughout my career. So yeah, I think that girl, Anabe from the School of Affluence, I think because she just knew who she was, and she just decided to, she came from a humble background like myself, and she just decided that her life was going to be different no matter what challenges, or she didn't let anybody else dictate who she was.
There's a lot of naysayers out there, and people are going to get in your ear and try and discourage you. But if you want something bad enough and you're willing to work hard at it, I honestly and truly believe you can do anything you set your mind to and anything you want in life. You just have to put in the work and focus, and don't let anyone deter you with the bullshit, with the noise, with the negativity.
Yeah. Once you set a standard for yourself and you live by that standard, no one can tell you otherwise.
That's
because
right.
You're like, no, that doesn't belong to me. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. If you came with a warning label, what would yours say?
I get goofy. I get silly. Like I can be very professional, but I will probably crack a joke or do something that makes me look ridiculous at least once an hour. You can probably count on that.
All right.
I just, I love being like animated, and I have, this like internal joy that just like, it's overwhelming sometimes. It just needs to come out. Like I need to dance.
You need to let loose.
Yes. So that's a fair one.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. Life's like, you can't be too serious in life. Life is, we gotta have fun while we're here and enjoy things and do things to make people laugh and be able to laugh at yourself, for Christ's sake. Yeah. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what song would that be?
It would have to, again, be something like very animated. I don't know, probably some type of like upbeat kind of like reggaeton, or like maybe some like Italian music, because like I cook a lot and I love having that like classic, like Italian, like, that old song. It's like, it's called Panamericano. It's like, anyway, it's just, maybe that. Okay. Yeah.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would that one thing be?
Be kind. There's a lot of, unkindness out there. People have internal issues, and they will lash out at you. They will like, misdirect their anger at you and make you feel like really sad, just be kind. If you see that even someone's being really crappy, just don't be like, you know what, you must be going through something today, because what's coming out, it is not fun.
that word and that theme has popped up a few times in the last couple of days, being kind. And, you think about it, it really, I can't understand why we as humans have such a hard time grasping the concept of being kind to others. It's really not that hard. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind to someone. It could change someone's day completely by being kind to them. Even something as simple as a smile can change someone's day. So I can't wrap my head around why this is so hard for some human beings. I really don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I go around telling people, like, wow, I love your hat. I love your shoes. Like, they might just need that day.
Yes, exactly. Because you never know what someone else is going through that day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple concept, yet we have such a hard time grasping it and doing it and putting it into action.
We do. But you have to remember, it's when we're in pain, we become selfish.
Yeah.
Because we just want all that kindness for ourselves, right? And we just become, you're like, oh, why would I give it to someone else?
Yeah, but spread the kindness. It's good for everybody.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
Well, we just have to do our part and be kind, and hopefully that has a domino effect and trickles outward, right?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
OMG. Like, I think about that a lot. I don't know why, there was some self-reflective times, of course, during the pandemic, and it would be to be more confident and to not give a beep about what people think.
Oh, you can swear, Michelle. It's okay.
Because I come from a very small rural town, like maybe 2,000 people, and I listened to people who didn't know shit, and I ignored my own advice and my own internal compass, and I will never do that again. Like, I remember in grade 6 how much I loved fashion.
Yeah.
And, I just wanted to talk about it and think about it all the time. And I remember, like, bell-bottom pants came out for, I don't know, the second time since the 70s. And I got
bell-bottoms,
myself a pair,
yes.
and I was terrible at sports, so I wore them at soccer with,
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, so happy with my pants, and I got made fun of so much. Like, who do you think you are with your stupid shaped pants? Like, that's not a thing. And then 2 weeks later, everybody had bell-bottom pants.
There you go. You were setting a trend. You were part of a trend.
Yes. And I was so sad at that time, and I felt so intimidated by those girls. And I was just like, oh, maybe I'm weird. Maybe I shouldn't know. I was being intuitive.
Yeah.
And I was following who I was. And I decided to repress myself for half of my life because other people didn't get it. Not my job to make you get it.
That's right. Exactly.
Like, yeah, you'll get it in 5 years. Good luck.
Yeah, that's right. I'm already way ahead of you. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, so don't
That's amazing.
suppress.
I love that. It's not my job to make you understand it. I love that.
No. And you're going to feel like a fool once you do get it. So thank you very much for being unkind. I would... Yeah, I had such a drive. I wanted to travel all over the world. And I remember getting an internship to go study in Mexico. And I was really into Latin culture. And the boyfriend at the time was like, no, you can't go. It's 3 months. Like, I should have been like, later.
See ya. See you in 3 months.
Exactly.
If you're here when I get back, great. If you're not, okay, it's your loss. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did other things that defied, still that kind of repression that was trying to set in.
Yeah.
I did go to Europe at 15. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go for a month. It's not 3 months, but I'm going to go for a month.
Yeah.
and show you that this is not a big deal. Like, people do this all the time. Like, it's just, it's growth. It's experiencing the world, like different lifestyles, different people. It's so important to frame who you are as a human instead of staying in your really, really narrow little world. Like, it's very limiting, and it causes those limiting beliefs that make you think that you'll never be able to go to school or learn certain things or be a part of certain things, Yeah.
Life's too short. You have to spread your wings and fly as much as you can.
Yeah. If I could go back, I would talk to that little Michelle right in the ear, be like, listen, you do whatever you want.
You can do anything you want. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great advice. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today and share your journey and what it is that you do. It's incredible work, and I love what you're doing, and it's necessary, especially tying in the psychology. I love how you tie that into it and help people with that aspect of it as well. It's amazing. So thank you so much for being part of the community and sharing here with me today. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. I'm really, I feel very, privileged that you asked me to even be here and share my story with you. And I'm very thankful for that. Thank you so much for having me.
The privilege is all mine to have women like yourself on the show and share your stories. And I mean, hopefully together as a community, we can help and inspire other women out there that are in need of that. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And if anyone out there who's listened to this today, if you have any questions, if you want to even look into, what your style or anything like that, I'll always offer a little initial free consultation to see where you're at and how I can help you. So don't hesitate to reach out to outerhealth.ca. We're very kind here. We're here to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Michelle Leblanc. She is a wardrobe consultant based in Ottawa, Ontario. Thanks, Michelle. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you. To you as well.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.